you. Thank you. Your Excellency, Dr. Samia Suluhu Hassan, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Your Excellencies, Heads of State and Government represented here today, Your Excellencies, Vice Presidents, Deputy Prime Ministers, Excellencies, Heads of Delegations, Honorable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. And warm greetings to all of you. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here together at the inaugural Africa Human Capital Heads of State Summit. I want to thank you, President Samia, and your government for your gracious hospitality in hosting the summit in partnership with the World Bank. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize the kind, technical, and financial support of our partners, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the Global Finance Facility, the Government of Korea, and the MasterCard Foundation. I want to thank Your Excellencies for coming together to support building a coalition and adopting a consensus on human capital in Africa. We're here with a common and urgent concern and a common sense of responsibility. Africa is facing a human capital crisis. Even before the COVID-19 pandemic, a child born in sub-Saharan Africa could expect to be only 40% as productive as she would be with full education and full health. An intuitive indicator of the crisis is the learning poverty rate, which measures the share of children who cannot read and understand a simple text by age 10. In sub-Saharan Africa, about 89% of children are learning poor. This means that almost 9 out of 10 children are not acquiring the foundational literacy required for further learning. It is no surprise then that for education alone, at the midpoint of the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, we're seriously off track in Africa. Some indicators, such as primary school completion, which has increased from 46% in 2000 to nearly 64% in 2021, and youth literacy, which stands at nearly 78% as of 2021, have the potential for recovery. However, others such as access to quality early childhood development and preschool for all, which stands at about 50%, will need a significant and concerted effort to be achieved. This summit is an important opportunity to come together to discuss what we can do to improve human capital outcomes and achieve results at scale. For African nations, the cost of inaction will be extremely high and potentially destabilizing. Without navigating this human capital crisis successfully, African societies and economies risk being trapped in a detrimental cycle of stagnant growth, soaring poverty rates, and increasing inequality. This situation could potentially escalate the drivers of fragility and conflict as uneducated and low-skilled youth grow increasingly disillusioned. There is also a lot at stake for the global community. By 2050, Africa will represent almost 40% of the children 0 to 14 years and a quarter of the working age population in the world. Improvements in Africa mean improvements for the world. Improving human capital is not for the faint of heart or the impatient. If you allow me to be blunt, human capital is less visible than building a road and requires a longer-term commitment and investments. Yet when we are successful, we transform the lives of generations of children and youth, and the economic return is even higher. And change is possible. During this crisis, we have already experienced success and huge potential. The following examples that I will give are not exhaustive, but illustrate that progress is happening and continues to be possible. On the early years, countries like Rwanda are among the few to meet the Sustainable Development Goal target on malnutrition. It was done through efforts that included an innovative early childhood development intervention, a combination of home-based and community-based modalities. Rwanda dramatically increased its access to early childhood services in only 2 years, from 17% in 2020 to 62% in 2022. The stunting rate is also coming down. When it comes to learning outcomes, Kenya stands as a testament to the power of steadfast commitment to challenging reforms, ranging from curriculum development, provision of textbooks, and effective teacher management. Over the course of many years, through consistency and focus, the country has experienced a decade of substantial progress in learning, including a 50% improvement in reading. In Africa, teacher salaries account for more than 2/3 of government spending in education. Edo State in Nigeria sets a good example of how to increase efficiency of spending, leveraging technology and private sector partnerships. An innovative program equips teachers with tablets and scripted lessons for real-time progress tracking and continuous improvement. An extensive monitoring system fine-tunes resource allocation and has boosted teachers' attendance rates dramatically to 83%. Edo State demonstrates that even on limited budgets, education can deliver maximum value by efficiently harnessing teachers' potential. Innovations through partnerships across sectors have also enabled and accelerated the pace of change. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, increased financing for education and partnerships with non-state providers reduced the cost of education and resulted in 3.7 million additional students enrolled in public primary schools in a short period of time. Empowerment of women and girls is critical for human capital. Zambia shows us how to use social protection programs to protect the human capital of girls. They mitigated the effects of the rising food prices through cash transfers provided through digital payments that enabled 59,000 girls to access secondary education. And we know that representation matters. The 20 member countries participating in the Africa Centers of Excellence initiative across sub-Saharan Africa share our commitment to creating a network of women leaders and innovators in STEM and education fields. Under the leadership of our host, Her Excellency President Samia, Tanzania has also made enormous strides in ensuring that every child, and particularly adolescent mothers, can complete secondary schooling. The country is tackling this challenge in a holistic and coherent way. They are preventing dropout by expanding the school network and implementing an innovative Safe Schools program. At the same time, their new continuation policy is opening the doors of the formal education system to students who have already dropped out and young mothers. As a result, between 2018 and 2022, the number of girls enrolled in lower secondary school increased by 400,000 students, equivalent to a 35% increase in enrollment. We celebrate all these successes. Achieving the transformational changes urgently needed in our education system will require far greater funding. Sub-Saharan African countries currently spend about $280 purchasing power parity for every primary school student, compared to $1,500 in purchasing power parity terms in middle-income countries and about $8,400 in high-income countries. These large differences show that no country in sub-Saharan Africa is likely to effectively address the growing demand for education without significantly increasing their investments in human capital. However, more financing will not solve the problem at hand unless enhanced with a much more effectively, given that teacher salaries are normally the biggest component of education spending. Reforms that make teachers more effective are key to improving the overall efficiency of the sector. Systems need to reward teachers that improve and sustain better teaching practices. The education sector also needs to tackle low teacher motivation and high rates of absenteeism. Having more than 15% of teachers absent from school or not teaching is unacceptable. Beyond this, Ministry of Education need to build their capacity to deploy teachers equitably, ensure they have the teaching and learning material they need to do their jobs effectively, and provide the support they need to improve their teaching skills. Tackling these challenges successfully will improve sector efficiency and are just as critical as mobilizing more funding if national and continental goals for education are to be met. As a development partner, we at the World Bank stand with you at this time of human capital crisis. In addition to the Africa Human Capital Plan that we launched in 2019, we have prepared a new strategy for education in Western and Central Africa and an operational business plan for the Eastern and Southern African countries. We have also increased our financing for human capital. And our commitment to education spans several sectors, including interventions in health, social protection, water and sanitation, transportation, and other sectors that contribute to improving access and quality of schooling for all. Nevertheless, it is your national strategies, your ideas and financing that are the foundation of future progress. It is essential that we formulate a clear and actionable plan that explicitly outlines what it will take to achieve the goals. To make progress, we must break the silos and foster collaboration amongst all stakeholders. We need to develop a platform for action that transcends sectoral boundaries and unites government agencies, domestic partners, and external allies, including the pivotal private sector. That is why events like this one provide a critical opportunity for cooperation and collaboration. Over the last 2 days, we had so many creative ideas and inspirational examples of what can be done to accelerate progress on building human capital. We need to capitalize on the wealth of local ideas and solutions to address the challenges in Africa. We at the World Bank would like to convene a team of education experts from the continent and policymakers to find how to build on the successes that I've mentioned, to take them to scale, and to propose new ideas and solutions. We would work with regional bodies, individual governments, and our development partners to strengthen and sustain this team and provide global knowledge from other regions to plan and deliver tangible solutions at scale, accelerating progress in human capital development. We will also review our human capital plan to reflect the Dar es Salaam declaration. With political will and leadership and commitment from all of you, the highest level, we can together achieve our vision. With our collective leadership to make human capital the cornerstone of our country's development strategies. I'm confident that we will build strong coalitions and allocate the needed resources to ensure a bright future for Africa, a future where all girls and boys reach their full potential, grow up well-nourished and ready to learn, attain real learning in the classroom, and enter the job market as healthy, skilled, and productive adults. I want to close with a phrase that one of the panelists just said yesterday. Yes, Africa can. There's no more time to waste. Thank you so much.